Hi Marion, I thought I would just show you a quick video on the Power of Process assignment that we've been emailing about. I am in the Feist Connect course, which by the way is now fully populated. And I'm going to go to the Add Assignment tab here on the main home page, and I'll select Power of Process, which is the third assignment choice. When I click on that, I'm going to walk through the instructor walkthrough, and then I'll show you quickly what it looks like from a student perspective. The first thing I'm presented with is the opportunity to either upload a document, select a document, or assign a student to upload a document. Because you're not making a profit off of this, you're able to upload any research articles that you find relevant and would want to assign to your students. If you go to select a document, you'll see a list of all of the titles that we have added thus far that have been permissioned. And you can preview those if you want. You can sort by topic here and it'll select from them. I think we have about 14 to 18 at this point, and I'm sure they'll continue to add those as we get feedback from instructors. If I preview it, I can see a little bit of information about the article. I can see that this one is open access. I get an abstract, an introduction on it. So all sorts of good information that can help you determine how you would want to create the assignment. So you can see there's a lot of robust information here with the different studies associated around it. But the next step I would go to is to assign it. And then I would hit continue. And this is where we get to the strategy wheel, where we have the students thinking about objectives before they read the article, while they're reading the article, and after they read the article. So we have pre-built objectives included here that were created by subject matter experts, instructors like yourself. And you can choose as many or as little as you want in each of these categories. We recommend not going too robust, or it may become overwhelming for the student. But the great thing about this is if you want to change any of these, you can simply click on it, and it allows you to come in here and edit the language so you can get it exactly as you would like, or you can actually create your own objective as well from scratch. So if I were to change this, I would just click the checkbox there. If I want to come over here to the right, I can decide if I'm going to have the students do a text box response around this objective, or annotate that section in the article and then make a text box response as well. So I think I'll change this one to annotation, and I'm just going to create just a few just to show you when we get to the student side what it looks like. So that is the before reading. If I come to the during reading, again, I have a plethora of options here, and I'm just going to leave the one. I'll make this one a text response, and then my post reading, again, we'll just leave that with one to keep it light. So once I've selected my objectives, I will click on continue. And here is where I'm going to entitle my homework. I can give detailed instructions here. I can decide how much. I can tell them, I want 3 paragraphs, I want a full page, I want citations. Any of that can be added here, and the students will see that. Don't mind my typo. And then, of course, I want to select a due date, so I'll go ahead and make this due tomorrow, and a point value. So maybe I'm going to make this worth 15. If I want to upload an additional attachment, I can do that here as well. But I'll go ahead and hit continue. I can see the information about the course, and now I'm going to go ahead and assign that. So all of the assignments go to the bottom of the list until you change those. I can see this is the Power of Process assignment that I just created for my students. And now if I want to come over and look at that from a student perspective, we can see what that looks like for the student as well. So as a student, I would come over and click on the research analysis. I can see it's worth 15 points here. This is where I would see my detailed instructions as a student as well. And I'm going to click start. And so right off the bat, my summary wheel comes up here, my process wheel, and I can decide which order I want to go in. Normally you would do it before reading, but students can choose however they would want. So I'm going to go ahead and, excuse me, click the read the abstract. And so now I know that as I read this abstract, what do I think I'm going to find in this article? And so it tells me a little bit about how to annotate it, because this is an annotation. I can do this with a cursor or with my finger if I'm on a mobile device. But I'm going to come into this abstract here and just highlight. And then when I highlight, the text box comes up, so I can make additional notes here too. And save those. And so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so that was my pre-reading activity. Now during my reading, I'm supposed to identify independent and dependent variables. And this is a text box response here. So now I would come in, I would actually go into the article here, read the full article, read the studies. And as I'm reading that, I'm thinking about the objective that was presented to me, because I know I'm going to have to come back here, and based on the instructions you sent, I'm going to have to add information. Oh, I can't type. And so I would go on and continue adding more to that. And then when I get to through my article, answering the questions, and I would during the article probably have more than one objective, but again, completely up to you. Then I'll be presented with my post-reading, and in this one I'm summarizing the findings of the study in my own words based on the strategy that I chose, or the objective that I chose. So again, I can come back, review the article to think about that. And the whole idea behind this is it's really getting the students to dive in and take a deeper read and engage more with what you've assigned to them, rather than them just being assigned it and, you know, maybe doing a quick scan to answer the questions. So I would fill this in here, save that. And once I've completed the strategies or the objectives here, now I'm going to process and think about the process of my findings. So I'll click on this middle button here and process reflection question. Please reflect on your process. So this is the order that I went in. Maybe if I'd gone non-traditionally, I might talk about why I chose to go to the post-reading assignment first. But it's just, this is where, again, you can give your students more guidance on what you're looking for in that reflection. But it's interesting to see how students' minds works and how they approach this, especially as they're reading something that's a little more difficult from what they typically read. You know, they're not always reading research studies. You can come back here, and as an instructor and as a student, they can see how many times they went to each of the objectives to revisit that, and they can describe that as well. But once they've summarized that, they will then see the annotated and text version that they've worked on. They can download that as a PDF and send that to you, and they can also submit the assignment so that you will find that in the Connect Message Center and Gradebook to be able to go in and actually grade that. And people do that in a variety of ways, which we can discuss as well. So I'm going to download this as a PDF. Let me see if it's prompting me for anything else. So I've downloaded that. And my final step would be to submit the assignment. And I think, because I'm not an actual student, it's not allowing me to do that. But what they'll see then is they'll see a list of all their notes off to the side. They'll see the annotations. And it just really allows them to get a full scope understanding of this article, of this research piece, and use some critical thinking skills. So again, I'd be happy to go over this in a webinar with you at any time. If you go into the Connect course that we created in your Connect account, you should see some pre-built assignments, but also you can go to this Add Assignment and click on Power of Process. Learn Smart is going to be the adaptive chapter-based reading assignments, And then the question bank has everything else that we reviewed broken down by chapter. So if I come into a full chapter, again, I'm going to see all of those interactive activities, videos, things like that. You can see for this chapter I have 201 choices, all of which I can filter over here by question type or activity type or APA outcome or Bloom's taxonomy. So would love to catch up with you and talk to you a little bit more about your decision process, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.